This is Mobeen Azhar on BBC
Asian Network.
Tonight we are talking food fads. We've all heard this stuff. We've all heard that if you, for example, only eat meat for 30 days, you will have a wonderful physique and lose a certain amount of weight and everything will be brilliant and rosy. You probably know from the tone of my voice that I'm a bit cynical about that, and maybe you should be too. Tonight we are unpicking fact from fiction. We are talking about the oddest diets you've ever heard of. I was reading the other day about someone that went on what they called a water fast. So I think for 30 days, they were having water with honey mixed into it. We've got with us a lovely panel. We've got Juggy, also known as the Indian Body Coach. He's a friend of the show. Juggy, how you doing?
Really good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
So I just want to start off by asking, let's just get very personal for a moment. I want to talk about our personal journeys and relationships with food and diet. So Juggy, you've spoken about this in the past. You are someone with a big online following. You've spoken about body image. You spend a lot of time at the gym. It wasn't always that way, was it?
Well, yeah, I've had quite a journey with nutrition and health and exercise. And I know that I've talked a little bit about my kind of history with alcohol in the past and how that impacted me through university and even through depression, those kinds of years. But it led me to a path where I followed a lot more kind of better habits around health and nutrition and training because I moved into the kind of bodybuilding world. But even that came with, a horrible consequence around nutrition. I became so fixated on food at that point. And it was at that point that I realized that I was constantly counting calories, constantly looking at protein sources, constantly so focused on the intricate details of nutrition. I wasn't enjoying life anymore. I wasn't even able to go to my brother's 30th birthday party because I was just so fixated on food. I had to move myself away from that environment. And a lot of that history actually comes into play when I'm talking to the people that I work with now and the clients that I work with, because so many people are so fixated on food.
Of course. And I think, we do live in a time where we are constantly being told that if we want to achieve a particular, let's just be frank about a particular shape or a particular weight, then we need to be conscious of everything we're eating. It sounds a little bit, and just share as much as you're comfortable sharing, it sounds a little bit like you went from... went from two extremes, really. And do you think this is a really heavy question, but I think it's one worth asking. Do you think that's a lot to do with your personality type? Because you often hear people saying that they've got addictive personalities or that they commit to things in quite extreme ways. Is that part of who you are?
I'm actually not, but it comes down to, from my history, from psychology, from where I was in terms of my psychological health, my mental health at that point, and going from one extreme to the other seemed logical at the time. You step back and you look at that journey now and you can think, maybe that wasn't the best way for me to go at that particular point. I'd probably be better going into bodybuilding now because I've got a clearer mind. And I've done a lot of work on kind of personal development to get to this point.
Juggy, you are very much, I would say, in a world which is about bodybuilding and fitness. And in those circles, do you get a lot of people that are vegan?
I would say more in the health world. I used to be in the bodybuilding world, but massively into the health world. But I've got a massive influx of vegan and vegetarian clients on the back of, into the mic, on the back of things like the Game Changers, for example. And having watched the Game Changers, having watched some of these documentaries, having reviewed some of the information that's actually been shared in those documentaries, it's not 100% accurate. However, I'm massively for the vegan diet if you do it properly. And Nikhil, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think veganism is a diet for you. I think it's more of a lifestyle choice. As like people will say, I'm going for a diet because I want to lose fat, or I want to do this and I want to do that. But listening to your passion about it, I feel like that's more of who you are, your kind of belief system, rather than just, I'm going to follow a ketogenic diet because I'm going to cut out all my carbs to lose fat. If that makes sense.
I agree. I think that what's happened with me is that obviously I'm an ethical vegan, but at the same time, the benefits to my physique have been like unparalleled. Like I'm in the best shape that I've ever been in my life. Like if you go on my Instagram, like literally my last photo is like my abs, and it's like, you know, I'm like so grateful that I can see my abs now, because everyone has abs, but like because of all the dairy that I used to be consuming, I had no like concept of how I could optimize my body. And I think it's like worked really well for me.
So it's worked for you?
Yeah.
Sorry, just on that front, I mean, from my personal experience with veganism and the clients that are vegans that come to me, when you make a massive change from one diet to the next, you become way more conscious of your food intake.
Mm-hmm.
So your ability to see your abdominals, I mean, you can see my abs right now, and I eat dairy, I eat meat. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, dairy and meat are the things that were causing that. And I think one of the things that I would say is potentially when you become more food focused, when you do become more aware of and more conscious of, as you say, of what you're about to consume, that can have a massive impact in terms of your physique and your body shape.
Because you're just thinking more, perhaps. You're thinking about everything that you eat.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing is, the way that I see it...
You know, on the vegan diet, I mean, it's very easy to say I'm going to go plant-based, but what do most people do when they go vegan? They go and start eating all these alternative meats, these alternative beef burgers, mainly made from like seitan and, you know, different types of kind of chemically produced or, you know, produced in factories, this, that and the other.
Oh, it's certainly food that's been processed, isn't it?
So most people aren't saying, I'm going to go vegan and then just eat all 7 colours of the rainbow. And I think that's something that we really need to kind of build awareness of here, is you can be very, very healthy on a vegan diet, but you can also be very unhealthy just as you can be if you eat meat. So just having that balance is important.
Of course.